Good morning, Triangle families. My message today is primarily intended for those in our audience who are still seeking personal value and direction in their lives. While those who hold divine principle as absolute truth may wonder why I'm presenting these core teachings from an objective view, my goal is to make these concepts accessible to everyone. While the parenting task would certainly be simplified if these truths were universally accepted, I believe this approach serves our entire community. I would also like to request that children remain present until I share a short video story. I have prepared coloring pages and a craft activity for them to enjoy afterward. Today, we are exploring a deeply personal question. What gives our lives true value? Today's sermon topic is our life's value depends on what we choose to value. The central idea is that value is not assigned to us. We actively choose what to treasure. Let us read two Bible verses. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. Matthew 16, verse 21. Where is your treasure right now? Let us read the next verse. For as he thinks in his heart, so is he. Proverbs 23, verse 7. This verse connects inner belief to outer character. What we think in our hearts shapes who we become. Our internal values are not hidden. They show up in our actions and choices every day. These two scriptures form the foundation for everything we will discuss today. They tell us that our focus determines our destiny and our beliefs determine our character. Keep this in mind as we look at how different traditions approach the questions of life. There are generally two approaches to religion. One is visionary and narrative driven, while the other centers on problem-solving frameworks. Christianity exemplifies the visionary and narrative approach, emphasizing God's plan to redeem humanity and establish a heavenly kingdom. In contrast, Buddhism serves as an example of the problem solution model, focusing on methods to alleviate suffering and attain enlightenment. What type of approach does our church use? In my view, we take a hybrid approach. The divine principle begins by stating, every human being is striving to achieve lasting happiness and overcome adversity. It then explores the origins of happiness and highlights a significant inner conflict present in everyone, which leads to issues within society. Afterward, the approach alternates between visionary perspectives and narrative elements to address human restoration. Visionary narrative-based approaches can be difficult for individuals who favor intellectual or logical reasoning, especially when the story does not align with their rational framework. I would like to emphasize that many stories teach us valuable lessons. I am using parables and folk tales to teach children moral lessons at Sunday school. I'd like to present a brief video that connects to today's sermon theme, which is the value of life. The video tells the story of a young boy who wonders about the value of his life, titled The Boy and the Stone. The father tells his son that a stone value depends on where it's placed, just like one's life. He says, your life's worth is determined by where you put yourself. The choice is yours. This teaching aligns with what is expressed in the Bible verse I shared today. How we value ourselves and where we place ourselves determines our worth and our life's course. Let us watch a short video of the story. The money unit in this video is rupee, but you may interpret it to dollar. And it's showing the some unit, strange unit, lakh, L-A-K-H. It's 100,000. So let's watch the video. You like the story? The Boy and Stone is not a realistic story when viewed critically. Who would allow a child to travel alone with such a valuable stone? It is far too risky. Bad people could hurt the child or steal the stone. However, if you dismiss the story as unrealistic and refuse to listen, you miss the important lesson it teaches. Similarly, we shouldn't close our hearts to visionary, narrative-driven methods. If you are a doctor, what should you do when a patient tells you they don't understand your explanation of their condition and refuse to take the medicine or treatment you suggest? Should you reassure the patient that you genuinely care about their health and want them to live well? Or should you warn them that not taking the medication or treatment could be life-threatening? Our church occasionally, or perhaps frequently, uses warning to guide members. This approach may not appeal to young people. Sometimes warning methods are essential, such as when doctors must advise patients who decline medication or treatment. As you may recall, God used a warning method. He told Adam and Eve that if they ate fruit from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, they would die. What I would like to emphasize is that the value taught in stories can be effective and useful even if we do not understand the story itself. Are you familiar with the following story? Adam and Eve fell. All descendants were born in Satan's lineage. Blessing changes the blood lineage. Children born from blessed parents are God's children without sin. Some may say, the story feels unrealistic, so I can't buy into it. or see myself playing a role in it? What value and lesson can we learn from the story? Our lives are valuable because we are considered God's children. This belief doesn't mean we think we are more important than others. When we appreciate our own life as a gift from God, we also learn to respect and value the lives of those around us. A true patriot isn't simply someone who loves their own country. Rather, it is a person who respects other countries just as much as they cherish their own. A true child of God values others as God's children. When we understand that our existence originates from a higher cause, often referred to as God, we can discover the true value and meaning of our lives. When individuals are unable to understand the genuine value of their lives, it resembles that analogy presented in the story, The Boy and the Stone, where a precious gem is overlooked at the marketplace. In such circumstances, people may experience diminished motivation and develop a sense of hopelessness due to this lack of self-appreciation. Feeling hopeless can be extremely risky as it may lead to acts of violence. In many cases, mass killing or terrorist incidents are linked to a sense of despair. Suicide bombings sometimes occurred in Israel during the 1990s. While I was there in 1998, one happened near where I stayed. Israeli settlers right next to Palestinian area lived in a well-maintained area with new homes, greenery, and flowers thanks to sprinklers, while Palestinian homes outside the settlers' area are old and surrounded by desert. The stark contrast could make young Palestinians feel hopeless, which made them vulnerable to recruitment by terrorist groups for suicide attacks. My story is not for judging Israel or Palestine. My point is that when feelings of hopelessness lead to violence directly outward, it can result in harming or killing others. When feelings of hopelessness lead to violence directed inward, it can result in self-harm or suicide. It is crucial that we discover genuine worth in ourselves and in those around us. Some may say, I understand that we teach the importance of understanding that our existence originates from God. Wait a minute. Our church distinguishes between blessed and non-blessed children. We teach that people are not in God's lineage. They are in Satan's or the serpent lineage, unless they receive the blessing or are born as blessed children. Do we view those outside our church as less valuable? Are we guilty of looking down on them? Many young people believe that religious individuals are arrogant and see themselves as superior. But this perception is inaccurate. In last Sunday school, we talked about the difference between confidence and bragging. Confidence means believing we can grow and improve. It keeps us receptive, so we listen, learn, and become better over time. Bragging, by contrast, is insisting we are better than others. It tends to block listening and learning because it feeds ego, not growth. Real faith builds confidence and moves us to keep improving as sons and daughters of Heavenly Parent. True parents blessed evil people like Hitler. Some may say, how can we verify this? I'm not convinced. Yes, there is no way to prove that Hitler received blessing unless you have a spiritual ability to connect and communicate directly with Hitler in the spiritual world. We have a book compiled with messages from historical figures in spiritual world. But their similar tone makes it hard to verify their authenticity. I understand it is hard to believe that Hitler is really praising two parents just from the book. The story of Hitler's blessing shows that our belief is that everyone is a child of God and deserves God's blessing, regardless of their actions. Why is blessing so special? We uphold marriage as a holy covenant, a divinely ordained union between a man and a woman, God's son and daughter, and with gratitude, we cherish our spouses as God's beloved children and as precious gifts from His hand. How do you think the value of blessing as God intends it helps nurture a strong marriage and healthy family? Going back to the doctor-patient example, what is patient's responsibility? Patients can choose to trust the care they are given, or they can seek understanding for how and why it brings healing. Even if you don't fully accept our church's stories, you can still receive the goodness of the values behind them and put those values into practice in your own life. Please remember how we value ourselves and where we place ourselves determines our value and our life's course. Let us live as sons and daughters of Heavenly Parent and shine our value. Thank you so much. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Parent, thank you for giving us this opportunity and moment to think about Heavenly Parent. It is very important to think about Heavenly Parent in our life. We are living in very busy lifestyle, and we easily forget Heavenly Parent in our life. Once a week, we gather here to church and reflect our life and think about Heavenly Parent. This is a precious moment. Heavenly Parent, our true value comes from Heavenly Parent. It is very difficult to find our true value, but if we really connect to Heavenly Parent and realize our life came from Heavenly Parent, we can find our true value and we can shine our true value. And I hope that young people can find God in their lives and shine their value. The Heavenly Parent gives us, each one of us, and find those precious value to the people around us. Thank you, Heavenly Parent. I'd like to report everything in the name of members gathered here, attending Holy Mother Han with appreciation. Adieu. Thank you so much.